my friends, I am back because as I was looking, well, I've been working on 2 or 3 projects, but while I was looking, I came across this little project that reminded me of my time when I was at the knit shops, when I would go to the knit shops a lot and did a lot of, did knit night and things like that. And I took a lot of workshops and things, whatever they were trying to, make a little money for the shop I tried to always sign up for. And lo and behold, I found my old pattern, one of the old patterns. This bag originated around 2006. And oh my goodness, this was, Ravelry had just kind of got started around 2004, 2005, I think, somewhere around there, because that's when we first heard about it in the knit shops. They said, oh, there's these people are starting a knitting community with patterns and projects, and you can buy online. Of course, a lot of that online stuff was new to me because I didn't even have a computer yet. I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't on anything. I was just going to the knit shops just to find some people to knit with. And in fact, Ravelry only had I'd say about 5,000 members when I joined. So I got in early when, Casey and Jessica and their neighbor or something, they started, they wanted to build this knitting community. I don't think it contained any crochet at that time, it was just knitting. But all the yarn shops was glad to kind of get their customers and people that took their classes and came into their shops. They start telling everybody, you need to go and sign up for this new online site where they're going to feature knitting and patterns and designers, and oh my gosh, everybody's excited. And so one of the first, when I was looking, just trying to check and see what I had and where I wanted to go, I've got the sweaters on the needle, but I wanted something small real quick or something else. I came across one of the first things that set the yarn stores on fire. Something as simple as this little bag. When this little bag came out, and I'm going to hold it up, and you can still find it on Ravelry. You can see that's the Ravelry page. Sorry, it's not in color, but I thought I was printing in color. But it was called the Christine bag. The Christine bag, and I forgot who it was by. I guess her name was Christine. I covered it up a little bit, but it came out, or at least this was around 2006. Somewhere in there between 2005 and 2006. This little bag, they had the information at the yarn stores. And they started right away doing all kind of workshops and little knit nights. And I'm telling you, this thing just took off. It's just a simple little cable bag. But what was so, and it has like little bamboo handles or some kind of little handles, But what set it off was she had this bow. Some of you going to remember it now. Like, oh yeah, I remember that bag. It just set everything on fire. We all was knitting this little bag. Every color, everything. Some of them had flowers on it. You can find more copies if you just look up, if you search under, I guess, hand-knitted cable bags or totes or purses. But anyway, so I still had a copy, and I thought I'm going to go ahead and share with you how this little bag just changed just changed a lot for a lot of people because it was easy to sew and it was done in like one little piece and you just fold it in half. I can't even remember if we even put liners in. I think we did. Some bags we put liners in and some we just left. We were just making them right and left. And then we had the little bamboo handles or some other kind of little handles. But the fun thing was to thread the pretty ribbon through the bag, and you could have coordinated ribbon or whatever it was. So maybe you can find it on Ravelry. Like I said, this is like the Ravelry page, but it's called the Christine bag. Alright, so I just wanted to make sure that I showed you that little pattern. Now, like I said, it is still on Ravelry, and it's a free download. So just look up Christine what was it, Christine Bag. All right, but now we're going to fast forward because we are working out of stitch books. And this is one that I have reviewed. In fact, all 3 books that I have of hers, of these stitches, this is Wendy Bernard. And I just numbered my book so I know which one I was working in. This is my book number 2, but it's Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary. More than 150 stitch patterns to knit top down, bottom up, back and forth, and in the round. So she does a lot of good work so that we don't have to. And then what's so fun about it, every time I watch a knitting podcast or a knitting channel, and they have their books or things on the shelves or laying somewhere, I always look to see if I see these books, because a lot of knitters work out of this particular stitch book, this group of her stitch books. And I see a lot of people that have these books on their shelf. So I know it's a good buy. Now I have an affiliated link, and I'll put it over in the comment section along with the book review that I did, a year or so ago. But this is the one that we're going to work out of, or at least that I got this first pattern out of. Let's see, can I find my place? You might know I didn't mark it, but that's okay. All right, so let's see. Now let me see if the light's good and if you can see it. You don't have to see it really close up right now. There it is. All right, this stitch, or this cable, she calls it the woven cable. It's a panel, one like unit. It's a panel instead of repeating, which is just there, of 18 stitches. A panel of 18 stitches for this pretty little cable. Now, if you already have the book and you prefer not to work the chart, the written row by row is in the book. And I did take a picture so that you can get a screenshot as we work the chart. But I'm going to show you how I modify charts just to help me, because my eyes are not like they used to be, and my memory might not be either, but I'll show you in just a minute. But anyway, this is the stitch we're going to work. I thought, let's start out and work this one. It looks complicated, but oh, is it so easy. You're going to get through and go, oh my gosh, nobody's going to believe I made this. But that is the stitch. This is the book. And then, like I said, you'll see the screenshot. I'll make sure that there's a good screenshot. So, let me just go ahead and pull up the sample. Now, as you will see, I am not done with the bag. I wanted you to see each step as we did the steps. So this, of course, is the first step, is to knit the stitch. I'm going to put it down a little bit. This is the first step. We have to knit the stitch, the cables, and do all of that. And then the making of the bag is kind of the fun part. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see the pretty cable. There's another name for this cable too, but I can't think of it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Because, people give them different names, but she calls it the woven. But there was one I just saw when I was looking at something else, and I said, oh, look, they called it this. But it doesn't matter. All we're going to do is look at the chart, work from the chart, or you can work row by row if you have the book. And like I said, I did take a screenshot of that, so if you want to wait and do that, you can, work it from a screenshot. But what do you think? Isn't that pretty? Doesn't it look it looks simple, but then this little part kind of makes it pop. Oh, it's lots of texture. Let me turn it over on the back so you can see the back. There's just a little reverse stockinette. You can see the stockinette is you purl on the front, knit on the back. So this is the wrong side, the back. So you can see I've knit those stitches on the back. That makes the reverse stockinette. And then here's the cable on the back of the piece of fabric. It's not reversible or anything. All this is just plain stockinette. Stockinette where we will knit on the front and purl on the back in like you would normally do. And we start out and end with a simple 2 by 2 rib stitch. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. Now how easy is that? So let's go ahead and take a look at my working formula. I'm trying to bring it close so that you will be able to get a good screenshot of it and have it to work from. Everyone will be working from the same formula. Alright, this is Jay's knit. I'm just calling it the Cable Purse 101 for this first one. Alright, so, and then, like I said, I am using a US number 9 needle because I went back in my stash. I found I got a lot of course, medium weight yarn because that's what I normally use. Medium weight, like number 4 yarn, or you can go up to a number 5, a little on the bulky side. You probably won't need but a full skein, maybe a full skein and maybe a little bit of another half of a skein or something. But you don't have to have a whole lot of yarn for this purse. So look through your stash. You got one full skein and a little bit of another skein. You go, you know what? I can't do anything else with this. I'll make it into a bag. All right, now out of Wendy Bernard's book, all right, it's a stitch book. She donates something out of the stitch book, and then we have to put the rest with it. All right, in the stitch book, the cable is a 18 stitch panel. That means just the cable itself, no connecting stitches. We have to add all of that. So the cable is 18 stitches, okay? Now, I go down and I draw my line to represent what I'm going to cast on. And on this line, I go ahead and right in the center, I went ahead and put cables, and I put the 18 stitches. Now, and when you look at on the book, when we actually start working, we'll look at the directions in the book. It says the cables are worked on a background of reverse stockinette. That means on the front side of the work, I'm going to purl and knit on the back. And I'll do that on each side, so I need something to balance off the cable so that the cables stand out on the reverse stockinette. So I went ahead and put 6. And then I added 6 over here. So now that balances out. Now if I add the 6 and the 18 to make one bigger unit, the 18 is the unit, then I'm adding the reverse stockinette because the cable won't look as pretty without this reverse stockinette on each side. It comes to 30 stitches, just so that I'll know. Now, every line that you see that is vertical is where we're going to put a stitch marker. Alright, that leaves the side of the bag, or the side of our working formula. So this side I added 13 stitches. That was just my prerogative. And on this side it added 13 stitches. The reason I chose this because I was looking to get to 56 stitches. So when you add up all of my numbers across, you will get 56 stitches to cast on for this bag, for this pretty cable purse. And the reason 56, it's the perfect number to work the 2 by 2 ribbing in. And you'll see once we get started. Once we cast on, that's when we'll go and start working 2 by 2 ribbing. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and we're going to work for about 2 inches. So all you have to do is get your number 9 needle. You can use number 10 if you have a little thicker yarn, like I said, number 5, and you want your purse to be a little fluffier, you know. You could use number 10, but I'm staying with the number 9. And cast on your 56 stitches and just wait for me there. Now I have cast on my 56 stitches on just some of the scrap yarn again, just so that I could get you started. For those who not, that are new to my channel, and want to make sure that you at least start out right. All right, so you see my stitches are cast on. They're 56 stitches. Okay, for me, the first stitch and the very last stitch, I knit on every row. Okay, I knit the first and last stitch. Some people slip their first and last stitch, or slip one and knit into the back loop of the last one, whatever. but you can do whatever you're comfortable. But if you're new, just follow me and just knit. The first and last stitch is not part of the ribbing. It's just an edge stitch. Okay, out of the 56, I'm taking this first one and I'm simply going to knit it. Just like this. Oops. Just knit that first stitch or slip it or whatever you like. Now, the ribbing starts. We're going to be doing the 2x2 ribbing. This first row right here that you see, I counted as a wrong side row. So every time I do it the same. Now, so bring the yarn in front of the needle. You see that? Just bring it in front. Now I want you to purl the first 2 stitches. Purl 1 and purl 2. Okay? Alright, then now we just go into the full rib. Yarn in back, because now I simply want to knit 2. So 1, 2, yarn back in front, now I'm going to purl 2 stitches. Purl 2, yarn in back, knit 2. Just that simple. I do it the same every time. No matter if I'm making a scarf, a sweater, anything. If I'm going to start with ribbing, this is the way I do it. And if you get lost or you kind of, get distracted and go, uh-oh, I don't remember where I was, just back up a few stitches and just go knit 2. Then you see the little bump that represents purl 2, then knit 2, purl 2. So I know I need to put the yarn now in back and knit the next 2. Just that easy. Okay, now yarn in front, and we're going to continue across this wrong side row. I will see you as we get close to this edge of our first row of the 2x2 rib. Take your time. Now I have made it to the end of this first row, and remember, I consider this a wrong side. Okay, let me go back. Knit 2, purl 2. Now the yarn is in the back, and I'm going to knit 2. And then look and see. Since I started with the purl 2, I started with an edge stitch, then purl 2. I should end the exactly same way. So I have 3 stitches left. So my yarn comes in front. I'm going to purl the last 2 stitches. Then stop. I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to put the yarn in back and knit the edge stitch. Remember, it's not part of the ribbing. So now I have worked the first row of my 56 stitches. Now let me just see if I'm halfway on. Okay, I have to watch this side. Okay, keep it over there, Jay. Keep it over there. All right, so now when I turn the work, of course, this will be, if that was the wrong side we started with, then this should be our right side. And you can look at the front edge and you can see. Now, we're just going to continue working in the ribbing because we have to go at least close to 2 inches. So I start with a knit 1, that's the little edge stitch. Now, the next 2 stitches, I'm going to knit 2, because we're on the right side now. Knit 2, 1, 2, yarn in front, then I'm going to purl 2, and you can see the 2 purl bumps. You'll be able to tell right away. So I'm going to purl 2, then knit 2, yarn in back, knit 1, 2, yarn in front, purl 2, yarn in the back behind the needle, knit 2, 1, 2, all the way across. Now on the front side, since we started with, after we did the little edge stitch, we started with a knit 2, purl 2, then we should end with the exact same thing. Knit 2 and then knit off that 1 stitch, that's the edge stitch. And that's how you do your basic 2x2 ribbing, keeping it simple and easy so that you can always remember. Alright, now we're going to continue to work Let me make sure of my measurement again, just kind of looking. It doesn't have to be just you. I didn't want us to have to count, so it doesn't have to be just perfect, but mine is like right at 2 inches. So what I want you to do is continue to work right side, wrong side, and keep doing the 2x2 ribbing, and I will see you as you get close to 2 inches. Wait for me there. Make sure that you are on a right side row. Now, if you need to, because this is new to some people, if you need to mark your row, if you're not sure and maybe you're a little worried about getting whether you have the right side or wrong side, go ahead and you can mark that first side with a little piece of contrasting yarn, just like that. Take a crochet hook and just kind of hook it on there, just so you remember. Or if you don't want to do that, just for right now, because we're not going to, you can take one of these locking markers and make sure you mark the wrong side. Because when we turn, you will be on the right side. Does that make sense? So here is the sample I worked off camera. I have my 2 inches. When we're working, we're actually working it. So I don't want you to get all confused, but we're working it. We started here. This is the back of the bag, the top. We're working down in this direction, down to the bottom of the bag. All right, so now let's look and see what we have according to our working formula, what we should do next. Once you reach your 2 inches, go ahead and get out some markers. I need at least 4 markers. I have like 2 white, one on this end, one on this end, and then where the actual cable is, right in the center, I have 2 red markers, just so that I'll know exactly, hey, this is the cable section. So that's the next thing you want to do, is to get some markers out, because we're going to get ready to set the markers in, and then the cable will come right up real quick. It's going to be a lot of fun, but you can see. All right, go ahead and do that. Get your markers. Make sure you have your working formula sheet in front of you, and let me switch and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back with a fresh new sample, and I'm just going to pretend that I have the 2 inches just to save time, because it's just to get you started. I have my my working formula sheet right here. We just simply start putting the markers. Remember, every vertical line, we just simply put a marker. So I'll just, on your working formula, the first thing is to knit 13. So I start right here, and I just start knitting. Just like this. Just go ahead and do the first thing with you. I knit 13. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. There's 13. Double check it. Then I put my first marker. There's my side, one side. Now the next 6 stitches, you'll notice if you look, it's reverse stockinette. Alright, to do reverse stockinette, since this is the front side, and I hope maybe I didn't say that, but you should be on a right side row when we start this section. And you put the yarn in front, because now I want to purl 6 stitches. So I'm simply going to purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can just always double check. 2, 4, 6. Now I'm going to pick up a red marker, because I know that my cable is right in the center and it's coming up next. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put my yarn in the back. I'm going to put my yarn in the back, then I'll add my red marker, because on the cables we're going to knit on the front and purl on the back. You know, we'll be working the cable on the front side and then we just purl on the back. The cable, everywhere, is 18 stitches. So I go ahead and knit 18 stitches. And that red marker for me will tell me exactly where the cable stitches will go. So I'm just going to knit 18 stitches. Push my yarn up. Alright, I'm going to stop and count. I'll just knit a few and then just stop and count. Okay, let's see how many do I have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Double count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 stitches. I'm going to pick up my red marker because I want to end. This is the cable section, but I'm going to go ahead and put my yarn in front because I know I'm going to have to do the reverse stockinette coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and put my red marker there. My yarn's in front because now I'm right here. I need to do the next 6 or the last 6 reverse stockinette stitches. So that means I need to purl 6. So I purl 1, 2, that's 3, 4, that's, 5, and 6. Make sure I didn't drop anything, and I got all of them. 2, 4, 6. Now I can grab my side marker, which I use yellow on here, and I put it right where I'm going to go ahead and put my yarn in the back because I know I'm going to knit the side. I'm going to put my yellow mark on. You can use whatever color you want. They should match, and then I have red in the center. Now all I have to do is knit off the last 13. I can just check it even before I start. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So no problem there. 13. And I knit. Just like that. Okay, now when I turn the work, since this was the right side, everyone was on the right side of the fabric. When I turn, I'm back to the wrong side. Now I'm going to just walk, just to save a little time, on this side. Okay, you do. For the sides, you're just going to purl. It's in stockinette. Knit on the front, then I will purl these stitches. Stop when I get to the yellow to the marker. These are the reverse stockinette stitches. So on this side, if you look, you'll see right away where I purled on the front, you're going to knit. Do you want me to just do that real quick, this first one at least? Maybe for those that are new, or like, okay, Jay, I'm getting a little... Look, I'm a little hungry, so I'm a little confused. Okay, so I start out, oops. See there? I was thinking about my dinner too. Look. Okay, let me go back. All right, remember we're on the wrong side. I was making a joke that almost didn't turn out funny. All right, so I knit that first and last stitch, remember? I do it on every row, then the yarn comes in front. Now I'm going to purl the side stitches because I'm on the wrong side of the fabric. So I have to purl these stitches. They usually say the easiest way to say it is knit the knits, purl the purls. But this is the stockinette section that we have to take our time and just follow our working formula. Alright, so now I'm up to the marker. Alright, this was the wrong side, so I needed to purl across. Now I look here for the reverse stockinette. I purled on the front, but on this back side, I'm going to put the yarn in back, slide the marker. Now I'm going to knit 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Woohoo! Okay. See, you get a knit stitch on the wrong side. And that's what you want in the reverse. When I get up to the next marker, it is red. It tells me that's my cable. For the cable, you'll knit on the front and purl on the back. So I'm going to bring my yarn back to the front because I need to purl. I'm on the wrong side. I even put a little marker there, just to remind me. So now I purl across the section that we will work the cable into in it's coming up shortly. I want you to be ready. So I am purling across the cable section of how many stitches? 18. Look on your working formula. Okay, I'm just purling across. Okay. I hope my hands are not too much in the way. Whew. There you go. Alright, I see the red marker coming up, the next marker, so I stop before I even move the marker, and I look and I see that I will be in the reverse stockinette section right there, where I need to knit those 6 stitches. So I'm going to put the yarn in back, slide the marker. Now I'm just going to knit across 6. 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, stop. Check the last section. It's the side of the bag. Alright, and I know on the front I knit, but on the back I need to bring the yarn to the front again, slide the marker. Now I'm going to purl off the last 13 stitches. Yeah, I guess I'm glad I went ahead and just did this just for those who like, okay, just switching back and forth. You have to kind of know where you are, but once you get used to it, and I'm telling you, once we start, you get used to this. I guarantee you work about 3 or 4 inches, you got, okay, Jay, I got this. So I'm purling across. I got it. A bell just went off and I got it. And the last stitch, the first and last stitch for me, I knit. So I put the yarn in back and I knit that stitch. You can slip or knit through the back loop or whatever you like. Now let me turn the work. We are on the right side again. Can you tell? Can you see? And we have set in our side border where we're going to knit on the front and purl on the back. Here is the reverse stockinette. It's purl on the front, knit on the back. Here's the cable where we're going to put the 18 stitches. Okay, and naturally it's done in stockinette, so we knit on the front and it's purled on the back. Same thing over here. It's exactly like it has to match this side, and then this side has to match over here. Does that make sense so far? Okay, now after that, guess what? Now we're going to talk before we start. I'm going to give, here's my sheet. Let me sit that up there. And now we will talk. I'm going to reset my camera so you can really see it maybe. Well, this might be okay right there we're going to talk about this chart. But I want to compare the two charts. The one that I took the screenshot, and the one that I rewrote. Sometimes you have to do your own, like I said, modification to make it easier for you. And I want you to see the difference. So I'll be right back. Alright, before we start the actual cable stitch for this, remember the cable is out of Wendy Bernard's book. And let's just take a look at the chart out of the book. Now I'm going to just bring it real close so you can get it. I didn't have a large copy of it, but I'm going to bring it and just talk a minute. So if you have the book, then of course you're going to be working along out of your book as you work along with me. But when you look at this chart, okay, the charts are done in symbols. Okay, so let's look at the first cable row right here. This is row 3, the right side of the fabric, row 3. There's a total of 18 stitches. There are three crosses of the cable. 1, 2, 3. Now when you look at it, the lines, there's just a lot of lines. But what you need to do is look at the longer lines. Here and here, here and here, here, here. Okay, are they leaning to the right or are they leaning to the left? And the first thing you're going to learn about cabling, and thank goodness this is pretty universal, if it leans to the right, that means back. If it leans to the left, it means front. So, if you look at the written instructions, it tells you plainly. This is why, for those that are going to be following the row by row, she writes in the instructions, row 3, she puts cable 6B, cable 6 back, and she wants you to do it 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. And if you notice, if you count to where these long lines, how many actual little blocks they touch, it will be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop. That's one cable here. And then the next 6 and the next 6. I'm just going to hold that there just for a little bit, just so you can see. Of course, you can take a screenshot or if you have the book. So now let me show you what, just to help me, and if the cable's not, now, they really get involved, I just think of something else. But here is the complete modification that I will be using on my cable. Now let me make sure, since I picked it up, okay, I better put it back. I think you can see it that way. I know. I'll just pull in. There we go. How about that? All right, this is a complete, I wrote it. Say, you know how you write things in, just write it out long instead of, this is the shorthand version. This cable represents the shorthand version because it has symbols. This is when you write it out longwise. I guess that's the word, I can't remember. All right, here's row 3. And just like she wrote, C6B, that means back, so that this cable is going to lean to the right. I went ahead and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop. The next cable, C6B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a little mark. Stop. Last cable on row 3, C or cable 6 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I stop. Now, how much easier is that for me to work faster, understand it a lot easier? I don't have to sit here and go, okay, now let's see, this line is going this direction. What are these little lines? Okay, this is a shorthand version. This is a shorthand version. This is when you write it out complete, the longhand version. Then we move up. Let's go right here where we're going to really start. Okay, we just finished a right side row, and then we put in the markers, and we purl back. Now we're getting ready to actually start the cable. Once we finish the cable row, then we're going to purl back. All the wrong side rows, we purl back. Row 5 is a right side, but there's no information in it, so we know that a blank box is to just knit all the stitches. So we just knit back across. Then the next row is the purl row because it comes back this direction. So we'll purl back, and then we'll get ready to work the cable on row 7. So 3 and 7. Okay, now it's the same thing in the shorthand. Look at the shorthand again. In the shorthand on row 7, you have to work knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Then we start the cable again. And we already know that the cable, if you look up here in the written information, it says on row 7, knit 3, then cable or C6 front. So that means these long lines, always look at the longer lines. The longer lines are leaning to the left. Left means front. So that's a shorthand. So I simply came up here, knit 1, 2, 3. Then the cable starts. I put a mark here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cable 6 front. Hold it in the front. All right. And then the second cable. There's only 2 on this row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cable 6 front again. And then I end the row with a knit 3. 1, 2, 3. The last row will be row 8. You have to purl back. Purl all, work that purl row. And guess what? You'll be back at row 1 again. Now we're going to see it in real time. And step by step, I'm going to, like I said, some of you may be seasoned enough to use the shorthand version, but here's my longhand version for those who are going to follow me. You're going to need a cable needle. There's all type of cable needles. Just look for or pick out one that you might want to try. A lot of times I'll try a whole bunch of them until I get comfortable when I'm cabling. But my first choice is always a short double pointed needle. That way it's straight. I don't have to worry about it. That's what I normally like to use. So you'll need your cable, and that is it. Take a good screenshot of this. If you need my pull it close, if you need my longhand version, you can take a nice screenshot of it so that you can work right along with me. Alright, be right back. Alright, now we're getting ready to work row 3 because we've already worked row 1 and 2 and we have our markers in. Everything is set up. You can see your design popping out. So the first thing we have to do, of course, is look on our working formula, and I knit the first 13 stitches. This is the section that we put in. She gives you the cable or the stitches, then we added all the rest. So now I'm working the part we added. So I knitted, everyone would knit the first 13 stitches, slide the marker yarn in front. Now I'm going to purl the next reverse stockinette stitches. There's 6 stitches. So you just purl those. I had already purled 1, but I have 2, 4, 6. Those are the 6 stitches. All of that is stuff we added. Now I'm going to put the yarn in back, and I'm going to look ahead at my cable. There are 3 cables. We're going to work the first one. Now the universal thing, unless her instructions or the designer tells you something different in the key, or just writes it out in the pattern. If it's an even number, the cable, you just simply split it in half. So we're going to pick up the first 3 stitches, and since it's B for back, we'll hold it in the back. Then we'll knit the next 3, and then go back and pick up the ones we had in the back. So let's just go and do that. Really simple. Most people can cable. Most people can even read this little simple chart. But I want to just get it on video so anyone new can find it. All right, so I slide my marker. Okay, that's the hardest thing, trying to keep your markers on. I'm going to take whichever cable needle you're going to use. I'm using a little short band double pointed, and you're going to pick the stitches up in the purl direction like this. So I'm just simply going to pick up the first 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to kind of manipulate my finger and my hand, that's the only fiddly part, and put it in the back. See how I put it in the back? Okay, now I'm going to make sure my yarn is in the back because we have to knit. Make sure the yarn is in the back of the needle right here. Now I'm going to push my stitches up, and I'm going to knit the next 3 stitches. Like I said, if you just put your other fingers, kind of hold that needle in the back. So I'm going to knit 1, and I like to tighten up, 2, tighten up, and 3. Okay, now you can simply slide the stitches to the end of this little short. See how I slid the stitches to this end, and now I can just knit, or you can knit all with the cable needles too. Just knit those 1, 2, and 3. Stop. There's the first cable cross right there. Okay, now I have to go to this cable, and I've got it a big marker red so I can know when to stop. But like I said, it's 3 stitches. So I take the needle again, and I go 1, 2, pick it up like you're purling, 2, go in this direction, 3. There are the 3 stitches, and I'm going to keep them to the back. See? Right there. Then I grab my yarn, make sure it's still in the back, because we're knitting. So now I'm going to knit the next 3. 1, and I'm going to maybe take a little finger, some of the fingers, kind of hold that in place, hold it back, hold it down. Now pull it tight. 2 and 3. Like I said, it's a little fiddly, but you'll be surprised how quick you pick this up and get a rhythm. Then I can slide the 3 off the extra needle up to the point up here. Now I can just simply knit those 3. 1, 2, 3. Like I said, and people that are real seasoned, they can just do this without the cable needle and just swap the place of the stitches. But I want to show you a little trick now on this last cable. Now I'm right here. Same thing. Alright, there's the last 6 stitches. 2, 4, 6. Now I'm going to show you just something. I'm at home doing my own little thing, and every knitter, I don't care who they are, they all have hacks and tricks and things. They do it real proper on the camera, you know. But at home, we just, look, we do all kind of hacks and tricks and all kind of stuff. I use this large paper clip, and I use the ones with the, you know, let's see, can I get it out of the camera? You know, the color, they come in color. They got a coating on them, and it's the large size. And all I do is I just open one little side of it like that. Now watch. This is just what I do now. You don't have to do this. I can just open these needles up like that now, and I'm going to put, going in this direction, just like we were doing, I'm going to grab 1, 2, and 3. Stop. Lay that paper clip in the back. I can hold it with my other finger real quick, much quicker than, or much easier than any of those. It's just a paper clip. Then I push my stitches up to the point, give a tug, now knit 1, 2, 3. Now the only thing with the paper clip, I have to put the stitches back on. So I just pull up on the paper clip, put this needle down in front, take the stitches, see I pull up on the stitches on the paper clip, and I come here and I pop them back on. And some people might say, oh, that takes too much time. Not once you get your rhythm. And I don't have to deal with that long, those other, and then I have to knit 1, pull it tight, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Guess what? It's going to be real tight, this first row of cables on row 3. It's going to be really tight, but you have all the stitches because you have marker. You have markers to separate it. Now slide the marker, and guess what? I'm in the reverse stockinette section. Can you see it? So that means I need to bring my yarn in front, and I'm going to purl the next 6 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now there's the reverse stockinette. The last section is the side, and I knit 13 stitches, yarn in back. Slide the marker. Now knit 13. Okay, so I've knit all 13 stitches. Let's stop and take a look at what we have. I'll slide it down on the cord. Hope I was on camera. You just never know. Okay, now I can see my sections. I can see things popping out. I can see where the reverse stockinette is. I can see where the cable, it just rose right out of the ribbing and just started to bend to the right, because back means leaning to the right. So you can see it leaning to the right. Okay, and then I just knit all my other sections. When I turn to the wrong side, the next wrong row, I do the appropriate stitch. And you can read your stitches now. You see you need on the 13 stitches, you'll purl, you'll knit on the 6 stitches on the back on the wrong side. You're going to purl the cable stitches, then knit the reverse stockinette, and then you'll purl off the other side stitches. Read your work. You're learning. Read your work for those who are new. All right. Row 5, when you turn back, you simply knit. You know, you're on the right side, so you follow the pattern. You knit and then reverse stockinette. You just knit across the cable, because we won't cross again to the row 7, and then you purl. You knit across the cable, then you're going to purl the 6 stitches, and then knit this side. And then one more row here, you'll have to work on the wrong side. I will see you back at row 7 when we'll cross the cables again. This time we only have to cross 2. 1, 2, and it's cable 6 front. I'm going to cross them in the front. All right, now, if I was you, I'd have me a little marker or some kind of way to just kind of keep up. After a while, you'll be able to read your own work. But until then, just kind of keep. I only have to put this marker on the right side rows because I know what's going to happen on the wrong side. So I will see you back at row 7 of this simple cable stitch. You're reading cables, you're looking at the chart, I gave you the shorthand version, I shared that with you, and now I'm showing you how sometimes you have to make your own longhand version when you're working. And I gave you a little tip. This is just my own little thing now, don't, you know, all knitters cheat somewhere. Off camera, we all cheat. All right, back in just a moment. Okay, I am back, and we are on row 7. I could have had this little part done, but I just jumped up real quick. And of course, just a reminder, we have to work the pattern from our working formula. So let me just work over real quick. I got busy doing something else, or I could have had this done. Look, working on another project. I was over there knitting, and I thought, oh man, let me get back over there. You know, while I was had my battery plugged, my camera plugged up to juice up my battery. All right, so here I'm just doing my working formula sections that I have to do first. All right, so now I'm purling the 6 reverse stockinette stitches, and voila, I am up at row 7. I'm going to slide the marker, so there I am at the cable. This time we're going to start with a knit 3. Now look at each line in the box. So it starts with a knit 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Then we go into cable 6, and we're going to hold 3 of the stitches to the front of the work. So this is the way it looks. I've done everything else up to the cable. You can see my stitch marker. So now I'm going to knit the first 3, because that's what it says to do. 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to just be me and do what I'm going to take the first 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, take them off and just lay them to the front, just like that. Slide my stitches up towards the point. Now I'm going to knit the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then watch. Then I'm going to just pull a little bit up on the paper clip, put my stitches back on, or you would do it from your cable needle. Alright, then I have to knit those 3 stitches that I just put back on. Stop. That's just the first cable right there. Okay, we have a second one. So I go over here and I pick up the first 3 stitches again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I lay it to the front. Slide my stitches up towards the point. Pull them snug, and I knit the 3. 1, 2, and 3. Stop. You'll take your cable needle, or I'm going to take my little pink paper clip here and just kind of be careful that they don't fall off, whether it's on the cable needle or this thing. Just take your time. Either knit from your other needle or put them back on. I put the 3 back on. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, cable done. Except now we have 3 stitches over here. Once you finish that cable, then knit off 1, 2, 3. So I should have 3 stitches left, and there they are. So I go ahead and knit 1, 2, and 3. Now I can stop, bring the yarn in front. Now I have my 6 reverse stockinette stitches. The pattern is really, you can really see the pattern now. So just purl across those 6, yarn in back. Now I have those last 13 stitches that represent the side of the bag, so that when we get ready to sew, we will sew each side together. Okay, let's stop and take a look so far. Now, can you see it? Can you see the cables that lean to the front? They are leaning to the left. Can you see it on my... I'll kind of hold it at a different angle so you can see the... And of course, you're going to be able to see it on yours. It leans to the left. Cable back leans to the right. These lean to the left. I have 3 stitches on each side. Now, you will have to, of course, when you turn the work, you'll be on the wrong side. You do the appropriate stitches there. Just work your purl row. And guess what? After that, you're back at row number 1. You will knit. That's your knit row. And then you'll purl another row back to get back in position. And you'll be ready to start row 3. So I'll move my little marker. Then you'll be ready to cable. So now you're going to get to test and see if you can do your cables, whichever cable needle you want to use or whatever you want to try. So that's going to be the fun part. Now, real quick, let me show you. Again, remind you, I'm going to move everything out of the way. Here is, just so you can see it, I'm going to lay it long ways this way, so hopefully, let's see if I can get it all in there. I'll back a little bit. Okay. There, okay. I measured this and I just kept working this chart doing both row 3 cables and the row 7 and all the stitches, all the rows in between until I had, till I came to about from where we started to, it's about 18 inches. And then, so as you get close to right near 18 inches, you want to stop. Let's see, let me see which one did I stop on. Let me just look again. I have to look and see. All right. And I do the 3, yep. So what you're going to do, continue to work all the rows 1 through 8 of the chart for at least 18 inches from this ribbing all the way up to where this ribbing's going, where we're going to add this ribbon. This ribbon, just pretend like it's not there yet. You just work till you will be around 18 inches, and I want you to stop after row 3. You would cable row 3 and stop. Does that make sense? Because I believe that's what I did on here. I couldn't quite remember. Let's see. Yep. So you will continue to work for at least 18 inches, and once you reach 18 inches or roundabout, make sure that you have completed row 3, the cable. Okay? Then just stop and wait for me there. How about that? Then I'll come back and get you started on the last ribbing. Tell you this, what we need to do to put the end 2x2 ribbing, and then how to bind off. So there's plenty of cabling to be done. Take pictures of your work as you go. Show your progress. That way you can always send them in when you finish. You can have, you have everything in picture form of how you made your beautiful cable purse 101. All right, I will let you work off camera as I get ready to do the second part. I'll come back and do a part 2 where we'll actually sew the bag together. We'll have to put the second ribbing on, to match the first one, the 2x2, and then eventually I'll show you how to steam it, or you can block it, however, and then we'll show you how to sew it up, and then how to cut the lining, and just make a simple lining. How about that? And of course, any finishing touches to handle the straps, whatever we're going to do. All right. I want you to take your time. I want you to enjoy the journey of the cables. These are simple. I try to present them real simple, whether you do the shorthand version or the row by row version or my longhand version. Happy cabling, and I will see you shortly.